Welcome to So Many Receipts. I'm Shelley Seddon.
And I'm Fleur Michelle.
And we're two entertainment journos based in Sydney, Australia who love to analyse and talk about all things reality TV and pop culture.
In Deep Dive, we go all in on stuff we're dying to know about, plus chats you won't want to miss.
Welcome to our latest deep dive into And Just Like That Season 3. Also known as I Couldn't Help But Wonder, what the hell have they done to this show? So, Episode 3, titled Carrie Golightly, is a tribute to Holly Golightly, Audrey Hepburn, from the classic movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. So, Audrey is the original OG girl about town with a thing for fashion. And first up, can we talk about Seema taking time out from her busy job to go on a boring trip to Virginia with Carrie to visit Aiden? Because apparently Carrie's too afraid to visit Aiden alone. And specifically, we need to talk about that fried chicken scene.
Oh, the KFC.
Yes.
KFC must have paid a lot for that product placement. That's what I'm thinking. So basically, Seema gets a hankering to eat some fried chicken in a dingy motel room.
Yeah.
But she doesn't return like a normal person with 2 boxes of a 3-piece feed. She returns with an entire bucket of KFC fried chicken.
That scene was so cringy. And can I just say, are we expected to believe that they actually eat KFC?
No.
I know.
No, and a KFC bucket contains 8 pieces of chicken, and they're big pieces. Are they eating 4 pieces each?
No, there's no way.
Like that big breast piece?
There's no way. So I'm just saying, if you want authentic Mama's Southern fried chicken, which Seema was craving, wouldn't you go to a local takeaway place and even just call Uber Eats? Why would you get KFC, the same KFC that you can get anywhere in the world?
So do they have good fried chicken in Virginia? You live there, right?
Yeah, but it's, Southern fried chicken. Yeah, for sure. But
it's everywhere, right?
Yeah. But it's just like you can
Google it for the best fried chicken in town.
Exactly. It's like you can get it in Australia. You can get it anywhere in the world. So the thing was, these pieces of chicken, if you watch the scene, the chicken never actually touches their lips. They picked these minuscule bits off of the chicken and then gingerly placed it in their mouths. Like, this is not how normal people eat finger-licking good fried chicken. I'm just saying.
And I thought it was so odd that there were no fries.
No.
There were no mashed potato and gravy tubs and no coleslaw.
Yeah.
That is an essential part of the KFC experience. Who turns up with just a bucket of fried chicken under their arm?
It was...
And nothing else.
Completely bizarre. And Seema, who's a real estate agent, so she has this career crisis in this episode. Her boss is retiring and sells his shares to New York City real estate broker and real-life reality TV star $1 Million Listings Ryan Serhant. So, although they'd previously discussed Seema taking over, but so plot hole, they glossed over that whole bit. And apparently the whole point of this storyline was the writers wanted to show a woman in her 50s having to pivot and having to reinvent themselves and throwing them into another arena and trying to figure out what's next. So this is the one time I have to say they've actually hit on something that is actually in the zeitgeist.
That's true, but is it much of a pivot? She's still in real estate. She's just going to go and work for herself now.
Maybe.
Right? Why doesn't she just start a podcast like us? That's more of a pivot. Maybe she should start one with Ryan.
Yeah.
Or go on the show on $1 Million Listings.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be a pivot.
Yeah. So she's making millions of dollars in commission. I don't think she wants to be a podcaster.
Okay.
But I did like when she stops by to pick Carrie up for the Virginia trip and she runs into Adam Gardens. So they have this flirty conversation and I actually like this for her. I think it's interesting when people, who are complete opposites, get together. I think Seema could actually use a dirty gardener.
Yeah. And I think this gardener's been planted there.
I see
Get
what you
it?
did there.
Planted to be her love interest, which is exciting. I mean, she's not the most beautiful woman in the world. So the fact that in the show, she's just catching every man's eye, that's... Look, not realistic either. It's kind of fun, I suppose.
I want to see them together. And anyway, onto something a bit more believable than the fried chicken. I am absolutely thrilled about the return of Fun Charlotte.
Yes.
I love seeing her back at work as a ballerina, and she's competing with her younger coworkers. They're all closing deals at night, partying with potential clients. And Charlotte's competitive, and I think she's feeling unappreciated in her mother role, and she wants her former identity back. And I love her giving the younger coworkers motherly advice and Advils and going out with them and drunk dancing in a club.
Yeah, me too. It reminded me of the time they went to Staten Island in Sex and the City. And remember, she drunk danced in a club there as well.
I loved it.
It was kind of like the same dance. I think they asked her to recreate it. It was very Charlotte. I mean, this is what we want to see, right? This is all we want. More flashes of the old characters, less of the new bizarre modern day ones that seem like they're just bumping into furniture and don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I didn't understand why she brought Harry along when she was going to a work event and she was trying to work selling art. Like, it made no sense. Harry was so awkward and uncool, and he was just killing the vibe. And that tight jean story just was not working for me. And when he peed his pants, that was too much. That was it.
Yeah, these women have lost their edge. Yeah. Carrie is too scared to see Aiden without bringing Seema to Virginia. Charlotte can't go to a work event without her husband. Why are they still giving a crap?
I know.
Because by the time you're in your 50s, Carrie's 60s.
Yeah.
What do you care?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think that's so weird. Are the writers just all 30 years old and they can't relate to women our age?
They're just not getting it. They're just, I don't get it.
Yeah, and I didn't believe him when he said the jeans were so dark you couldn't see the pee stain. They weren't black jeans. They weren't that dark. They were just like that dark denim. You could see the liquid in it if that really happened. And it wasn't just a dribble. Apparently, he just did an entire flood.
Yeah, well, you'd hope the club would be dark and you couldn't see it. But, okay, spoiler alert. So fast forward a little bit if you don't want to hear a spoiler about Harry. But unfortunately, I think this storyline might be going in a different direction. It's rumored that one of the characters has a health scare. I think it might be Harry.
Oh.
I think it might be something to do with prostate cancer. It's the second season he's had an issue downstairs.
Okay.
And there was also a preview clip of Harry saying things are going to be all right and Charlotte all teary.
So you kind of put P and P together and you came up with your theory.
Yes.
I think it's a good theory. Oh, well, that's not a fun storyline. I also like how Anthony, Charlotte's gay best friend, is still true to type as well.
Yeah.
At least we can rely on this pair for like the good old times of yesteryear, sort of feel the nostalgia, right?
Yeah. So apparently Hot Fellas is still a thing, and it's now the gathering place for the ladies to debrief, like the brunch at the cafe used to be. So other thing, there is no way.
A deserted bakery.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. There is no way. I believe these women are eating carbs, especially the Upper East Side women from the LTW gang. You know, these women barely eat to fit in their sample sizes.
She didn't want to touch the chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is she going to eat bread?
Yeah, people are not eating bread on the Upper East Side.
Right.
And the Hot Fellas jokes are just so one note. And they're just a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen.
And them eating pastries straight from a paper bag next to the racks of bread, no plates, that's not on brand for them at all. However, one redeeming feature of that scene for me was Sarah Jessica's outfit. It was a beautiful, billowing, light green floral blouse with a purple skirt. I loved it. It was so flattering, so pretty.
Yes.
I actually want to see if there's a dupe on it on some cheap fashion site for $49, not $4,000.
Yeah, exactly. I do have some other interesting news, though. There is going to be a Hot Fellas pop-up bakery in Sydney. So in Darlinghurst. It's going to be in Darlinghurst at Taylor Square for 3 days only. So Friday to Sunday, June 27th through 29th, which is next weekend. So they've already done this in New York, and everything is free. The pastries, croissants, coffee, carb-o-rama. So,
will people on the streets of Sydney understand what the connection is, though, if you're just passing by? Are they going to have a sign up saying "as seen on" and just like that?
No, I don't know.
Well, they're just going to say, "Oh, who is this?"
Hot Fellas.
Like
hopefully
free pastries.
People will know. I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't know how popular this show is here or not.
Yeah. Well, so everything is free. So show up early because it's only until everything is gone.
If I could be bothered going into the city on a weekend, I would go. I don't know if I could be bothered.
Yeah.
The storyline as to nobody stopping for the pastries from the hot guys on the streets of New York is not believable either, because everybody has got an Instagram or a TikTok. Youngsters would be snapping away and going mad for this. The fact that people walk past them and they don't even stop.
Yeah.
It is a bit cringe, that whole storyline, isn't it? Anyway, on to the Lisa LTW character. Firstly, actress Nicole Ari Parker, who funnily has a very similar name to Sarah Jessica Parker. I think this woman's absolutely stunning.
For sure.
She's 54. She's a former model in real life. She's so pretty. I love her look. I love the clothes they dress her in. So I'm really enjoying watching her fashions. Yeah. She wore a Badgley Mishka dress in episode 1, which I loved. I think she's going to be my fashion spirit animal. However, I've had a problem with the actual character from day one. I still don't know why she and the husband are in the show.
Yeah.
She's a working mum. She's frazzled. She's holding down a job and a household of kids. That's exactly what the Charlotte character does.
It is.
So why do we need two of the same story arcs? I would rather watch Charlotte's issues than Lisa's issues. I feel like it's just wasting time on the show. I just feel like this pair, the husband and wife, are on to fill a gap. Or something.
Yeah, I have to say, I had a problem with this episode's LTW storyline. Lisa's friend and co-worker, who's been helping her edit her doco on Black Sheroes for 8 years.
Oh, that's so cringe, isn't it? Black
I know.
Sheroes?
Sheroes instead of heroes, yeah. So her co-worker gets an amazing opportunity to work with Academy Award-winning director Steve McQueen. He was the Best Director winner in 2014 for 12 Years a Slave. Of course she should go and work for him. Like, I couldn't believe LTW couldn't be happy for her and was a completely selfish bitch. So just, to compare, if Alex Cooper, the most popular female podcaster in the world, called you up and asked you to join, call her daddy gang, I would be happy for you. Actually, okay, wait, maybe not. I would be a jealous bitch too.
Oh yeah, I'd be a jealous bitch.
Yeah,
but what I don't understand too, again, we don't understand these things.
Plot hole alert. We should do plot hole alerts.
Yes, because why is it taking 8 years to edit a documentary in the first place? Number one, is it a 1 hour or a 2 hour one-off documentary, or is it a documentary series?
Yeah, I don't know.
And does this woman have the editor woman, does she just work on it full time, or is she freelance who just pops in and out for half an hour a week to the office?
Yeah. We need to know these things.
Well, it kind of implied she was working for her full time. And I was doing the math. So if Lisa LTW was paying her like $100,000 or whatever a year, like an actual wage for New York, she'd be paying her $800,000 over 8 years to do a documentary that has still not been finished.
Yeah.
So can they not make things even a little bit more believable?
I know.
All it takes, I'm serious, right, is just a little bit of finessing. Just maybe one line like, I'm a freelancer here, Lisa.
Yes.
You pay me nothing. It's time to move on. Which would make more sense. I'd rather us having these questions.
Actually, I agree with you. And I think Herbert said, that LTW took time out to have their third child. So she took maternity leave. And, it takes money to make a doco. So I don't know if Lisa's funding it little by little.
What do they even do for a real job? Like, where's his money from? The husband's money from?
I don't know. He's running for comptroller or whatever, but he obviously has a high-powered job.
Right.
They have ridiculous F-off money.
Okay.
So, maybe they got a grant to make this doco.
They need us as a script editor.
Yes.
Just I'm not writers, seriously, just a few words here and there.
Just to punch it up. Absolutely.
Make it make sense more.
Yes, just to make it make sense. So I did like the scene where Miranda and Carrie were putting together the cat tree because there were glimpses of the old Miranda. So remember when with Alexandra Petrovsky, Carrie wanted to move to Paris.
Yeah.
So Miranda asked her the hard question. She's like, what about your job? What about your life in New York? What about your friends? Miranda was the voice of reason. She was the reality check person. And even Samantha would call bullshit as well. We need someone to do that to Carrie now with this ridiculous Aiden situation.
I think if we were talking about this as if it was a real life scene and these people actually existed, that Miranda and co would just be so fed up with the Carrie and Aiden situation, right? If I was her, I'd probably tune Carrie out for the most part whenever she talks about him because she never takes anyone's advice.
Yeah, that's true.
They told her all for years that Big was no good, and then she still ended up marrying the guy.
Yeah. So, we're talking about how LTW was getting a major storyline this episode. Meanwhile, poor Miranda, I felt like she was just sidelined. So she asks her colleague, BBC Joy, out for drinks, saying, she'd like to get some tips for appearing on camera, but she really wants to see if there's a vibe between the two of them. And I actually like these two together. It seems like an actual good fit for Miranda after Che and Rosie O'Donnell the nun.
Yeah, this pairing is at least more believable, and I would like to see them start dating and have some real issues.
Yes.
Yeah, more Miranda, please. And just like that, that is all we have time for. Join us next week for our deep dive into episode 4.